Hypercar Mountain.
Today's topic on Hypercar Mountain is four-door Lambos. And that means three very special cars, two SUVs, the modern Urus, and the previous generation LM002, the Hummer that was before there was a Hummer. And the third car is our concept car, the Estoque, the Panamera Lambo, if you will, that's never been built, but there's thoughts that it will be built someday, perhaps soon, either on a Panamera chassis or a Taycan chassis if it's an electric car. So the Estoque, we believe, is not dead yet. I want to start with the Urus. And the Urus is a strange car we thought would never happen. But, everybody's making SUVs, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, Maserati. Everybody's got a SUV, except maybe Ferrari. They all do it. It's something to be done. It's nothing to be looked down on anymore. The Lamborghini Urus has been made from 2018 to present, and it's kind of the SUV. Until the Bentley Bentayga came out, it was sort of the top SUV. If you were a millionaire and you didn't want to be seen riding around in a, Escalade or a tricked up something. The Urus is the car you get, although it's a little small, and it can be mistaken for a mini Japanese SUV, so it has been criticized for kind of blending in a lot. But obviously when you roll up on it and see that big Lamborghini on the back, or that Lamborghini logo on the hood, you're not going to be fooled. So in a sense, it's like, oh, this car gets no respect till it does get respect. So that kind of image works for some people. What they call a Q car, a car that doesn't get noticed until it blows your doors off, or you see the logo, or both. You may see that Lamborghini zipping right by you and say, what the heck is that? Anyway, they're not cheap. They run from $207,000 to $220,000. Basic. A lot of people trick them up to in the 240s. Mansory has a lot of aftermarket packages which can make them crazy, wild, and more distinctive, with custom carbon fiber, custom colors, stripes. I saw one with an all blue leather interior which looked quite out of this world. Anyway, the name Urus is derived from the word aurochs, which is a ancestor of cattle. And you're like, ancestor of cattle? Are they that desperate for names? Well, a lot of the Lamborghini cars have to do with bulls. Obviously, the bull is the Lamborghini logo. So when they look for names these days, they're looking for something in a bull theme. So hey, the auroch is the prehistoric bull, if you will. So hey, it sort of fits. The car has been criticized for not having a V10 or V12. Some of the Ferrari FF Lusso things do have a 12-cylinder engine, and this does not. So, however, the 4.0 liter twin turbo V8 that it does have has been used in some of the upscale Audis, the Cayenne turbo, and Bentley GT. So it's not a slouch of an engine. It is a prestigious engine. But do you want the same engine as a Cayenne turbo? I don't know. Do you? Maybe you do. But do you want it at 220,000? That's the question. Anyway, it makes about 641 horsepower. They say 640 officially. 0 to 60 is in 3 to 3.2 seconds. And that, by the way, is faster than a Tesla X long range. There's some question as to whether it's faster than the Tesla X high performance, which they say can do 2.8 to 3.1. And you'll find like 10 videos that say one is faster than the other. But let's just say, in that 3.0 range, the Tesla X high performance is its match. So the Urus is not going to be embarrassed too easily at 3.0. Now, if you got a Hennessy SUV with 1,000 horsepower, yeah, it's going to blow its doors off. But that's a whole different story. Anyway, the chassis is based on the VW ML002. That's M as in Mary, L as in Larry, BEVO chassis. So here's a car with a Audi engine and a VW chassis for $220,000. Well, that's a pretty well-known chassis. The Porsche Macan does have it, and so does the Audi top-of-the-line A8. So can't really complain about that. The Urus is an outstanding vehicle as an SUV, and like I say, it does get some criticism. I have seen one in person, and it does have a gravitas. You know that it's not a Japanese SUV, even though from the side it has some of those notes. But yeah, it's definitely not. And if you've ever seen the interior, which I have a picture of here somewhere, it's really, that interior is really tricked up and specced up. Awesome. In the diecast world, we've got 3 offerings from Hot Wheels, Majorette, and Tomica. I understand Mini GT is coming out with one in 2020. I checked yesterday and it was not for sale yet, so I guess it's coming out at some point. And by the way, the Mini GT, I'm waiting for the Corvette C8 like crazy. The first car I want to look at is the Majorette in a beautiful lime green here. It has the number 63 on the door for some reason. Maybe it's a rally car, I don't know. The hood has a black panel like it were carbon fiber. And it's a really beautiful, well done car. The door's open, which I like about it. It also has very springy wheels. Gives you that SUV kind of feel to it. The chassis is kind of a disappointment. They went to the trouble of casting lines on the bottom of it instead of engine detail. The only actual chassis detail is the rear suspension, which is pretty fancy. But, they missed an opportunity. They actually went to the trouble to draw these ornate lines all throughout the bottom of the chassis when it would have taken, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour to actually put the engine detail in there. A little disappointing. It does have a rear hitch. It's got one of those closed locking rear hitches that Majorette does. So you are going to be able to pull any kind of Majorette type trailer, or other people's trailers actually. The detail of this car is very nice. The front has the Lamborghini logo. It's got clear plastic headlamps. Lots of nice detail. You go to the back, the tail lamps are red, and it also has the Lamborghini name in big silver letters, like the real car. So it gets a real plus for me on that respect. The Majorette, besides this lime, comes in a yellow version that does not have the 63 tempo on the door. The next one is a Tomica. It's got pretty springy wheels too. Its chassis detail is kind of strange. It's got a bunch of polygonal shapes where the engine would be. I don't get that. I guess maybe they're actually just I guess it's not an attempt to be an engine. I guess it's an attempt to be a skid plate or something. And then there's a bunch of stuff behind that, and there's some lines that I don't know, are supposed to be an exhaust, I guess. I don't know. Again, like the majorette, they missed some opportunities. They took the time to draw these other things, but I don't know. Not really sure. Um, let's see here. The doors do not open like the majorette, but I think in some respects the shape of it, the shape of the hood, the shape of the rear door with the creases and angles, and the lines of the roof are deeper and sharper. In terms of the front, it's got a nice painted on headlamp. It's really, really close to the majorette in that regard. Um, although I would say there's a little more detail, I think, in the Tomica. If you look at the back, the windshield on the Tomica looks a whole lot larger from the back view than on the majorette. If you look at them from the top, the windshield's pretty much the same size and shape. But partly because of the spoiler on the Tomica, it looks different. And I think on the majorette, the roof line towards the back is lower. So the window on the majorette looks smaller for whatever reasons. On the Tomica, the tail lamps are bright red. They're dark maroon red on the majorette, so they don't pop as much. And the Tomica has a silver rear diffuser that stands out, whereas the majorette has a very small diffuser and that tow hook. So actually, I would, and since they both have the word Lamborghini on them, I would give Tomica the edge on that in that regard. This particular Tomica is the gold version from 2020, known as the Tokyo Auto Salon version. It says that on the hood, and it's the more pricey or rare of all the versions. Tomica's Urus is most popular in yellow and black right now in 2020. But currently, this gold one I think is the most beautiful of them all, and it goes for about $20, and is actually the only Tomica I own. The last one I want to go over is the Hot Wheels version, and as you may expect, it doesn't have a lot really going for it in terms of quality. I would say they did a better detail with the engine and front suspension. But in terms of the grill, I don't know. Don't really get that at all. The grill should have more black in it in the middle section, and it's just metal here. The headlamps are that tampo of black and white and silver that makes you think it's a lamp. The wheels are not springy, they're pretty firm, but then the Hot Wheels wants to race. The tires are immensely wide, both in the front and back, and I get a feeling this is going to do well if you put it on the track. You really can't look into it and see much of it. For whatever reason, the roof line is very steep on this thing, this Hot Wheels version, and therefore the windows on the side look like little slits compared to the majorette and Tomica. That's kind of weird. And if you look at the tail section, they did spell out Lamborghini, and they did spell out the license plate, and some exhaust pipes are nice. They kind of pop, but the tail lamps are just body color. There's a bunch of different Hot Wheels versions so far. There's a bright orange, a medium blue, and a white. There's also a so-called red version. It's more of a burnt orange red, or reddish burnt orange, and it's got two black stripes on the hood with a black interior. There's some debate as to whether there's a real red one versus this burnt orange red one, and I've only been able to find the one that's kind of the orangish red. So that's a question I'll let you experts settle out as to whether there's a real red one or not.
Hypercar Mountain.